Welcome to part 2 of my interview with Cecil Foster, the founder and managing director of Fosrich. And this is a beautiful point on which to continue this interview, because at the end of part 1 last week, he said he had found his mojo. He started out with pre-engineering at University of Technology, right, at CAST, and then decided in second year, I want to switch in sales. You're sitting in your first class and you're smiling because this is the place. Explain to me, what makes you understand that this is a thing?
Yeah, I started feeling some fire, you know. Previously, my family thought I was going to be an engineer, and I started it.
And you're doing well at it anyway. You're
Yes.
disciplined. You can do well, and you're getting commendation.
Right. And then, all of a sudden, I'm sitting in this class, and I'm hearing about how to interact with people, how to move them to a decision, and how to present yourself, and even how to dress for the sales, contacts and so on, and also how to prepare your plans and so on. I could see, especially when you move from sales, lecture to marketing directly, to law, and then when you move to all of these things, you are seeing the pieces coming together. And you said, oh my goodness, this is where I feel like I was now coming alive. And we spent hours. That same lady, Paulette, she joined my group with some others, and we spent nights and days studying. But what I did, I got all of the books and I started studying on my own. And then we engaged in this group study, and that group study now brought out everything. And guess what? At the end of the day, I passed it. And that is a part of coming from my roots. That, look, only time things are going to change for you is when you change.
Yes.
Some things you cannot change. So if you want to become better, then you change. And I learned also that, look, the wind blows on everyone. The difference is how you set your sail. Those were some of the things I learned from then, and realized that you can fight, but you don't have to be too disruptive or too aggressive and so on. Some people think that you need to be boisterous and aggressive and so on, but you're not going to get better. You're going to be seen as something that you possibly don't want to be seen as.
Talk to me though, because you're saying at the same time, you're being set on fire by this idea of sales. But that means going out and meeting people and talking to people and all of that. And you're not talking to people generally. You are talking to people, but you're very quiet. You say you're very, very shy. So how are you then overcoming those parts of your personality, or at least adjusting to it?
Very good way of asking the question. Before I left the job at Linda's Road, I saw somebody who I went to school with. To this day, I don't remember which school he and I went to, but he came to fix his car, and I was there, and I talked to him. He had a pretty good car, well put together, and I said, what happened, sir? Were you working? And he said he was working on Mullines Road at a company called, I could call the company's name, right? Cesco. I said, he was a salesperson there. I said, okay. And so when he left, I did ask him how to get to them, and I said, when he left, I approached Cesco for a job. So because I was now going to school and I could not pay my way at UTech, at CAST.
You have to do something.
I have to do something. And that job was not paying me enough. And so with that little bug that I had, an old bug that was still chugging along, I decided that I was going to go for a sales job. And it was almost hell. I went for the interview, but I knew nothing in lighting, nothing in electrical. And the guy, I just badgered him. So I used my tenacious spirit, I badgered him. I went even one day, left, asked for a day off. I went one day and stayed until 11 o'clock. He came to work, the manager.
No, so hold on. So you were not getting you just kept going back?
Yes, I'm calling him. And then when he finally turned up at work one day, and I walked in and told him that I am here to whatever it is. And then he looked at me and finally, he gave me the job. You know whose job he gave me? The job of the guy who I saw. You know what happened? I said, why? He said, this guy is so indisciplined. He mashed up the company's car. He just never, was doing as well as he should be doing. So at the time, his 2 legs were broken. And so he was not able to work. And they gave me his job.
Wow.
And all I had was this little bug.
So that's how you turned to get the first job?
First sales job. Because I was in market. I was in cast learning about sales and marketing and so on.
But I have to go and sell to people.
That is it. No, I have to go and sell to people.
How are you? You're still facing the same problem.
I now face my tiger. I face my tiger, living alone, and I had bills to pay. I had bills to pay because you live in a little apartment. Because my friend who got me the first job went away to live in USA. And so I now have to eat. And so I learned in school how you make your plans and design a plan to get what you want. And that's what I did. I started to go home and just stay home and plan how many persons I'm going to be calling each day, how many visits.
So you're writing all of this down every day? You're going through?
Writing overall plan, and then I write my daily activity. So you write your plan for the weekly planner, and then I write my daily activities. And my activities, I value each of them. To say, okay, if I'm going to speak to you on selling you this, I want to make X amount of sales from you, X amount of sales, and so on. And then I start to become more. No, it was not me just going cold and just making approaches. I now had a plan that I could revert to, and it gave me strength, and I start to come out of my shell.
What's your approach?
Yeah.
How are you figuring out?
I don't think it has gone, because even today, even now, it is still there, and maybe my animation is a part of deferring some of that or getting some of that out. But I found a mechanism. When I plan, when I put something on paper, I've learned not to make my head be a filing cabinet. If you put that on paper, you are in a better place to feel a lot more comfortable. So you can look back on it, you can assess yourself each day, what you're doing. And so that is a big part of what has given me confidence to talk to people. I mean, in talking to people, it was very difficult.
We have to go back to this. We have to take our first break on part 2 of my conversation with Cecil Foster. Shy man, apparently, founder and managing director of Foster Company Limited. You never know about the success of the company, but we'll find out more after the break.